Greetings, this is Tim Johnson, Recovery, Strength, Hope and Courage. This is a third of a selection of videos I've made about things that I believe have been really important to my recovery, that have been more or less essential to it. And I just want to pass on my experience to you and these are things that I've sort of picked up and learned, and not just, from other people and things that I've found useful and that have built strength into my recovery. And like I say, have been essential to it over the last 15 months. And I want to talk today about, if I may, embracing change and everyone's favourite thing, diet and exercise. Now, change is obviously essential to recovery. It's the first step, really, isn't it? And the first of all is admitting and accepting that you need to change. And for many, many years, I knew in the back of my head that I was aware that I needed to change, if you like, but I didn't really accept that I had to. And for me, it took a long, long time to do that. Don't let that happen to you. You need to think now very carefully about change. Change isn't easy, no, but if you accept that you have to change, and it's a case of saying, well, if I don't change, what's going to happen to me? And in my case, if I didn't change, I would A, have died, no question about that, because of the state I was in, and B, I'd already nearly lost everything I had anyway, but I just would have lost the rest of it, and I'm talking about family and friends and money, career, self-respect, pride, you name it, it was all going down the pan. So, and some of it already had, and I'm trying to regain that now, but, so yeah, embracing change, it's important that A, you need an awareness that you need to change, and B, you realise that you've had enough, and you want to change. You have a massive desire to change and that desire has to be stronger than anything that you can imagine. You really need to know that you have to change to survive, basically, for whatever reason you have. I mostly for my family. It was for me, obviously, for many reasons, but for my family. But anyway, that was that. I knew I had to. So it's like the Tao says, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. And that's quite a profound saying, which I've used before, I know. And Einstein says it, the world as we created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. And again, that's a very true statement. And that's what this is all about, because change is all about, it's not changing your essence, the person that's you. Don't get me wrong, it's not sort of becoming a person that no one recognises anymore, although they won't recognise your choices perhaps and your habits, but don't lose that essence of you. That's important, that sense of humour, that's that person that's you. But you will have to lose a lot of the negative and detrimental things that you're making choices or habits of, and and we're talking about habits, attitudes, emotion, health, spirit, appearance, etc., all these things, friends, even, associations, all these things you may have to change. And neuroscientists have done research which says that it takes a minimum of 30 days to change a habit, or either gain a habit or change a habit. So get rid of a bad habit or bring in a good habit takes 30 days. So you must have patience. You must have not just desire to change, but patience. And you must be aware of when you're making these bad choices and change them into good choices. So this is where mindfulness comes in. I'll talk quickly about mindfulness, because change is uncomfortable. No one likes change, and it's just a case of sometimes doing your best, because if you do your best, then you won't suffer. You'll avoid self-judgment, self-abuse and regret, and your best may change from day to day depending on how you feel. If you're feeling shit in early recovery or in withdrawal or whatever, your best might not be as good as your best when you're feeling really good, obviously, but it's still your best. So you can't regret that. You can't judge yourself, so just do your best at these things. And mindfulness is really important in this. It's a case of training your mind to be in the moment, obviously. And people, practicing meditation is not easy. It's like exercising any other muscle. For 10 minutes a day, and you build it up and you build it up and you build it up, perhaps, till you can see these thoughts for what they are. But anyone can experience mindfulness, even those of you who don't think you can. I'll give you a little test. Get your car keys and throw them high up in the air and then catch them. And for that moment in time that you throw them in the air and you're focusing on catching them, you're in the moment. And that's what being in the moment is about. And a lot of it is about breathing. And if you look back at my other videos, I've got 70 other videos. Look at the Wim Hof method about breathing. That's a really important video as regards, because I've used it and it's been essential. We only use 20% of our capabilities when we breathe as human beings on a day-to-day basis. That's, again, proper research. And the reason for this is we tend to hold our breath a lot when we're doing mundane tasks, when you're on the keyboard, or when you're texting, which is what a lot of you do these, and I've been as guilty as anyone, and I've stopped doing it. But stopping breathing, and when you're doing these things, stopping breathing, when you're doing the selfie or taking a photograph, all these day-to-day little mundane things. If you look through your whole day, are you breathing deeply and properly and slowly? And this is all part of mindfulness, because if you're aware of your breath, you're practicing mindfulness as you're going through your day. You don't have to meditate, because it's an ongoing thing. You're suddenly, am I breathing? Ask yourself the question throughout the day. Am I breathing deeply? Am I breathing slowly and deeply? Am I aware of my breath? If you're aware of your breath, you're in the moment, or you're starting to be in the moment. And that'll give you strength when you're dealing with these negative thoughts and trying to change these habits. So, all these things apply to diet and exercise. And I'll quickly touch on that, because this is essential. This is the I believe, I haven't listed all these 6 or 7 videos I'm going to make. I've not listed things in the importance of what they are in recovery, because in my mind they're all equally important. But if someone said, I'm going to shoot you if you don't choose one that's more important than the others, I would probably choose diet and exercise as being, because it's the foundation of everything. Your whole recovery is based, I believe, something, to a certain extent, on diet and exercise. Of course, all the other things are extremely important: the service and the giving back, and the gratitude and the gratefulness, and all these other things I'm going to talk about. Kindness and being kind and loving and positive, and they're all really, of course, they're really important. But unless you've got a healthy mind and body, you can't accomplish all the things. The Tao says a spirit without a body cannot act, nor can a body without a spirit. And that's very true. So particularly in early recovery, now I'm not going to be pedantic about diet. I'll talk about diet quickly now to start with. I don't believe in total, you can't go straight into withdrawal and early recovery and cut out everything. It's a slow progress into where you want to be with your diet. Don't starve yourself of things that are, because you might need a bit of comfort in recovery, and a little bit of what you fancy does you good. I'm a great believer in that. So you can't be ultra strict in recovery, early recovery. But in withdrawal and early recovery, it's important to make sure that you're getting your nutrients and your vitamins in, and your 8 pints to 10 pints of water a day. I've made videos about this, about including all this stuff. So look back on some of them, but I'll get for the finer details. But make sure you've got a good vitamin supplement going down. Make sure you're getting your B vitamins and your magnesium and your vitamin C. And try and get it through food if you can. All your leafy greens and your fruits and your vegetables. And I can't stress enough, cut back a bit on your red meat. If you can. But again, if you're struggling in a recovery, get it down. It doesn't matter. And if you want to stuff yourself, it's not. I'm not saying go right through your recovery, start stuffing yourself with chocolate and sugar and stuff like that. But you may find, particularly if you're a drinker, like alcohol, you may find, and with drug addicts, I found it with both. I was craving sugar, and that's because you've been putting so much into your body. Your blood sugar levels are up and down like you wouldn't believe. And you're going to find in early recovery that you're craving these things. Give yourself a treat. It's a little reward, and then move on, gradually build the blocks. This is what I'm talking about: changing behavior and repeat and realizing what's good for you. And then you'll make your choices, and we're all individuals and we all make different choices. I've cut out, I've been quite extreme now in my diet, in as much as I've cut out a lot of stuff I was eating before. I've cut out gluten, all sugar. I've cut out all processed foods. I've cut out a lot of meat now. I only eat a tiny bit of meat, which is only chicken or white fish. But mostly my diet is vegetable, is plant-based. And I've cut out, like I say, anything processed and gluten and dairy. I've cut out to a massive extent. A little bit of milk in my coffee sometimes. Green tea I drink a lot of, stuff like that. But and I have a good coffee every day as well. Coffee's good for you in moderation, but I don't drink caffeine after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm religious about getting 10 to 12 pints of water down me a day. I'm in a hot climate, but it doesn't matter where you are. Get as much water down you as you can, and preferably pure water. So that's important about diet, but be aware of it, because if you're not doing that, if you're not nourishing it, you're not nourishing your mind or your body, it will affect your mood, your motivation, your energy. All this stuff anyway. But this is what I'm talking about: habits and good choices and change. It's a gradual, slow process. Don't forget, 30 days to break a habit, 30 days to gain a habit. So you're cutting out the rubbish, early recovery, you're making sure you're getting plenty of nourishment, but you're not cutting out everything. You're giving yourself a little treat now and again, and you're including everything in your diet, but you're probably thinking more and more about the healthier stuff. And as you move on to later recovery, as I've done, it took me 6, 8, 9 months before I started cutting out chunks like I have. I have never felt better in my life. Mood, energy, mind-body connection, whatever you want to call it, is prime. It's better than I've ever felt in my life, and I'm 57. Finally, exercise. What can I say about exercise? If you want to start rebuilding the neuroplasticity and the synapses in your brain, and building good pathways and strong pathways, and getting endorphins flowing and all the rest of it, your body, human beings are designed to move every single day of their lives. It's simple as that. You're designed to move. You've got, it's what your body needs and desires. In early recovery and withdrawal, obviously, you're not going to feel much like moving. You're not going to feel much like getting off a settee, or, you're just going to be going to the toilet probably, or even a shower is going to be difficult. But just getting outside into the daylight, vitamin D, supercharged vitamin D from the sunlight. And it doesn't matter whether it's cloudy or sunny, you're still getting that UV, that light, that vitamin D is still going into your system. And the fresh air is going and the oxygen's going into your body. And breathe it in. And even if you go for a 100-meter walk, set that as a little goal. Don't forget, in early recovery, particularly little goals. A little walk, move your body, do a bit of stretching. In early recovery, that's all it might be on a day-to-day basis, but it will you'll start to notice that difference and start to making you feel better. And as I say, then, however extreme you want to go with exercise, it doesn't matter, because it's a good habit. It's one of the, it's one worth persevering with, because the more, unless you take it to the ultra extreme, of course. But I set myself goals now. I walk 50 miles a week. That's a goal I have every single week. I do 5 10-mile walks up into Mihas, which is a village in the top. It's all uphill and going and downhill coming back. It's bloody hard because I've got a metal hip, but it's a goal I set myself, and I achieve it, and I feel so good. Self-esteem and self-worth, which is another thing I'm going to talk about in a later video. But it really affects that deeply, and exercise affects that, because it changes your appearance, it changes the way you feel. Whatever level you're at, whether it's a little bit or medium or a lot, it doesn't matter. Yoga is brilliant. I do yoga, stretching every day, because at my age it's important to keep stretching. Nothing too outrageous, just 10 or 15, 20 minutes of light stretching every day. I do a bit of weights, a couple of 3 times a week, whatever you fancy, but get your body moving, because it needs it. It's essential to your recovery and your self-esteem and your self-worth, your appearance, weight, the way you feel inside and out. But most importantly, what's going on up here? Neuroplasticity, healing. So please give it a go. It's really important. I'm going to finish on that note now. And don't forget to just do your best. And change, someone said there's 3 constants in life, and change, choice and principles. And I think that's all I want to read out for you now. But change is the end result of all true learning. And Gandhi once said, be the change that you wish to see in the world. So what you wish for the world, that's what you need to change in yourself to start to become the best version of yourself you can be. That's really important. And don't forget, the most important prayer of change is the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Most important thing of all, realize that. Change the things you can, and accept, you have the wisdom to accept the things you can't change, but the courage to change the things you can, and that's what it takes, strength and courage. So carpe diem to you all. Seize the day. Today's the day to change, accept change, embrace change, and start including diet and exercise as part of your recovery, and focus in on it, and do what's best for you, or do the best you can. That's all you can do. Do the best you can. So for those that are struggling, just hold on, and please stay strong. It does get better if you hold on. Trust me, it does. So till next time in the next one of these videos, thank you for listening. Much love to you all. Bye bye.